Wandering Trails is a game full of strategy. Players will build their own trails and use computations in order to determine their total points. The materials you will need are the Wandering Trails game board, as well as the Wandering Trails card set, a notepad and pencil for keeping score, and expo markers, one color per player. Before we begin playing the game, let's become more comfortable with the game board. Some notable spaces within the board are the trees. These are barriers. You may not go through them, you must go around them. The mystery spots have cards that go along with them. When you land on a mystery spot, draw a card and follow its action. There are also a few gray spaces throughout the board. When you cross these, they are not worth any points. They are simply free spaces. Every other space on the board is assigned a number, whether it is positive or negative. When looking at the board, the locations are all placed around the border. The gray spaces are primarily in the middle, while the mystery spots are scattered. The trees are also located around the outsides. The objectives of the game are that students will become more comfortable adding single, double, and triple-digit numbers. They will also fluently add using mental strategies. This game also practices adding negative numbers to positive numbers in order to get a less positive number. The goals of the game are simple. Create trails using the locations from your trail cards. Maneuver your way across the board and collect as many points as possible. Obtain the greatest number of points by the time someone successfully completes 2 trails. If you have the most points at the end of the game, you are the winner. As we saw on the game board, there are many negative spaces throughout. Although your score may go down if you land on one, you will also be given the opportunity to go again. If the time comes where you need to cross someone else's path, it will come at a cost. If you cross someone else's path on a positive space, subtract the points from your score and add it to their score. However, if you cross over a negative space, subtract the points from their score and add them to your score. There are many times to receive bonuses in this game. Once you complete a trail, depending on its length, you will receive a bonus. Those bonuses can be found at the bottom of the game board. The longest completed trail will also receive a bonus of 10 points. And lastly, the player to complete the first trail will add 5 bonus points to their score. Now we will watch as Wandering Trails is played. First, each player must draw a trail card. This will let you know where your starting point and destination is. Mark your starting point by coloring in the gray box in front of it. As we saw, player 1 is going from the trailhead to the lake, while player 2 is going from the mountains to the lake. They will also color in their box indicating their beginning location. After a few turns, player 1 is getting ready to move onto a negative number. As we see, they move onto the -1 and then take their second turn onto the mystery spot. They now need to draw a mystery card and follow its action. Their mystery card reads, "Find your current total and double your score." This action will be done on the piece of paper in which you are keeping score. Once you make the change to your score, your turn is over. Now let's watch closely at player 2's next move. Because they are right up against a tree, they know they cannot go through it. The player chooses to move down onto the 4 in order to miss the tree. Before player 1 moves, let's watch them determine their options. They see that a -3 is above them, in which they do not want to take. Instead, the player decides to move onto the gray spot next to them. This is worth 0 points but will not take away from their score. Let's take one last look at a move made by player 2. They see the -3 and -4 as possible moves, but they decide to move on to the +2 instead. This keeps their score moving in a positive direction. Here we have our first time crossing paths. Because player 1 is moving across player 2's trail on a positive spot, player 1 will subtract the points from their score and add it to their opponent's. Once your trail is completed, make sure you count the total number of spaces you completed it in. Give yourself a bonus based on the number of spaces you used. The bonuses can be found at the bottom of the game board. Once you have completed your first trail, on your next turn, draw a new trail card. Player 1's new route is from the trailhead to the mountains, while player 2 will go from the wildlife center to the forest. You and your opponent will not always begin your new trails at the same time. Let's watch while a few turns are taken as the players begin creating their second trails. Player 2 is about to make a move that will require them to cross over their own path. When you cross back over your own path, it has no negative effect. However, the space is worth 0 points. Once a player completes their second trail, the game is over. As you can see, player 2 completed their second trail, but player 1 did not get to finish theirs. At this time, everyone should add up all of their points, including the bonuses. The player with the highest points is declared the winner. Every player has free reign as to how they want to keep score. Taking a closer look at player 1 and player 2's score sheets, we can see that they each did it differently. Player 1 totaled their points as they went along. After their bonuses for the first trail, they received a score of 64. On the second trail, they did not receive any bonuses because they were unable to complete it. Combining their totals, they had an overall score of 100 points. Player 2 kept score a little bit differently. They made one long number sentence and only totaled their points when either a mystery card told them to or at the end of the trail. After bonuses for the first trail, they received a score of 100 points. As a total for the second trail, they received a score of 73 points. When totaling all of their points, they also received the longest trail card, making their total score 183 points. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy learning about my game, Wandering Trails.